G'day guys, ZiggyD here, back with some Path of Exile gameplay. Today I'm going to take you guys on an Uber Lab run. For you guys who can't tune in on Twitch and haven't been able to catch some of my various Uber Lab runs I've been doing, thought I'd bring some of the love to you guys here. The Uber Labyrinth, the new Endgame Labyrinth, is a lot of fun. It's quite difficult, quite challenging, quite dangerous, but also quite rewarding. There's a huge pile of loot at the end that you can get. You get some powerful enchantments, and it's pretty good stuff all around. I've done a few runs on today's lab already, so I'm fairly familiar with it. And I'll take you guys through. You can get an idea of what the lab is like, how difficult it is, and, well, I mean, this character here is quite well optimized for the Labyrinth, so it can be a lot more difficult if you're playing on a character that doesn't have good evasion, dodge, or physical mitigation, things like that, or good movement speed especially can be a real problem. But nonetheless, I'll take you guys in. To open the Uber Labyrinth, you use the Offering to the Goddess. You get these from the trials, which you'll locate in maps after you've done 6 of them. There's 6 different ones to do. You will unlock the ability to do the Labyrinth, and then you can use one of these keys in the map device. You can't do anything with it to improve its quantity or anything. You just use it as an item like this, and it'll open the Uber Labyrinth. Now, it's not a bad idea in Prophecy League here to have 2 different prophecies active if you're planning on farming the Uber Lab. The first one is Twice Enchanted. This allows you to do 2 enchantments once you finish the lab, so you get to kind of double your output per time spent in the lab. So we're going to go ahead and activate that one. And we'll also activate the Emperor's Trove, which is will give you an extra treasure key when you slay Azara, giving you even more loot at the end. The loot from the treasure chest at the end is phenomenal, so getting this one up and going is a good thing. When it comes to buying these prophecies, as you can see, I've bought these ones sealed off other players because getting them yourself all the time is, difficult. It's not going to happen. So when it comes to buying these guys, especially Emperor's Trove, the Twice Enchanted one is a bit more questionable in buying like offerings and stuff like that. The prices on those I think will fluctuate a bit. Emperor's Trove, however, I don't really recommend spending more than 3 Chaos on. Optimally, you'd be able to get them at 2C, but when you're talking about like 4 Chaos prices, then it's a big gamble as to whether you're going to get your value back on them. It's difficult to get 4 Chaos worth back. It can certainly happen. Some of the boxes you'll open will be worth way more than 4 Chaos, but it is a much more of a gamble. So I'm trying to buy these at like 2 to 3 Chaos most of the time. Now, once you head on in, I highly recommend having this up if you have a second monitor or a phone or something like that, or you can just have it up in the background and try and memorize it. I recommend having this up. PoE Lab, this site is awesome. I'll link in the description below. People submit pictures, images here of the layout of the labyrinth for that day. Now, these aren't always complete. Like, for example, I know that there is a shortcut we can take advantage of. Actually, no, it is on there. I just missed it. So we can take a shortcut. Sometimes they're not always complete, but they are generally a pretty good guide of what treasure to look out for and how to navigate. Now, when it comes to actually running the Uber Labyrinth, what you need good single target damage. That's one of the biggest things. You need either good physical mitigation or very high move speed and the ability to be ranged. And it's also a good idea to get some evasion dodge if you're, one of those styles of character. If you're a heavy armor stacking character with good single target, then you're going to have a very good time in the Labyrinth. Uber Lab is very difficult for a lot of spellcasters because they don't have good physical mitigation. They don't always have great single target, and they can struggle with many of the threats offered by this. Now, this is an item level 75 zone, so when you first enter, the mobs can be quite difficult, but I'm, on red maps on this character, so it's not too difficult. Now, I know on this first zone that we have off to the right here, the ability to get a silver key. It looks like this one actually, the layout can be somewhat randomized. I've done this layout about 8 times today, and every time the silver key's been on the right. So the internals of each zone can change depending on, just RNG. So in this case, it looks like Argus is on the right-hand side, so the key will probably be on the left-hand side. But we can go ahead and get Argus here. Argus is quite dangerous. He hits very hard with a lot of physical damage, so I'm going to try and single target him from distance there. We took him out nice and quickly with some powerful damage over time. Hey, I got some Winds of Change. Nice. Looks like I had a prophecy that gave me a unique drop inside of the labyrinth. Not bad. Getting some lag spikes at the moment. Hopefully that settles down because lagging out in the labyrinth while running over traps and things like that is not usually a good time. So I'm going to clear my way through here until I find a section with a silver key. I only want 1 silver key in this lab. It's up to you to decide how many of the little extra bits and pieces you want to try and run. Silver keys in here. Generally speaking, I try and just get the ones that are fast and efficient to do in the layout. I want to be spending my time getting as many chests as possible and enchants as possible. The internal silver key rewards are not always great. Some of them are pretty decent. So I'm going to move through here. Looks like we've got some of the little ticklers over here. Those things grope you as you run through them. And this section I'm just basically just going to sprint through here and pot. Some of these guys, I'll explain these guys as I go through. These green circles here, there'll be 3 of them, they'll overlap, they'll be spread out. These are spawned by one of these endless hazards here, and if you use a movement skill in there, you take a pretty decent whack of damage. Now my Kintsugi protects me against that damage, so I don't take as much, but you'll take a lot more if you're not wearing something like Kintsugi. So they can be a little dangerous. The purple one is Temporal Chain, so that slows you down. It can be quite annoying on some traps, like for example on top of the Roombas. So we got our silver key. I'm going to use that to get a guaranteed unique item towards the end of the labyrinth. So from here I'm just going to sprint up to the top right. If it's a travelable zone, as in a zone that travels through and not an enclosure, then you typically want to be heading to the top right. Now this layout is a little different than what I'm used to though, so it won't be in Argus's room. Argus's room is optional. We kill Argus to get that treasure key. That lets us open up one of those treasure boxes at the end of the labyrinth, so that's the reason why we take on Argus. Argus is quite dangerous, but if you're melee, you need good physical mitigation because he hits very freaking hard, and if you're ranged, then you need good single target damage that you can deal from a range to be able to kite him. Got a nice spike there with the with the ghost. Alright, let's go through the estate walkways here. So this one is the gold door zone. You can always refer to these maps if you're feeling a little lost. And I know for a fact that, unless the layout is completely different like it was in the last one than what I'm used to, there should be a shortcut down here to the bottom left. So I might need to head up inside of one of these areas here, so in one of these interior sections. And I'm going to take a shortcut to skip this golden door. Usually the golden door, you'll have to go to a separate zone, get a golden key, then come back and open the golden door, and it can add like an extra minute or extra onto your run. So we want to do this nice and quickly. So we're going to head through here. There's that little hidden wall, the crumbled wall we can open up there. And if we click this secret passage, we can skip an entire zone. So that's really nice. We'll skip the entire golden door. This secret passage should could put us pretty close to the exit. So we're simply just going to hook up around here, around the top right. And just up this way should be the exit. There it is, Aspirant's Trial. So this is the first trial. Now, when you're doing your first Uber run, you're probably just going to run through to try and get your skill points. So you're going to do it as easily as possible. You're going to try and succeed with the extra challenges, the additional effects in the first 2 encounters. Now in this case, because I'm doing this for a full key run, I'm doing what's called a full key run, where I try and get all the treasure keys possible. I'm going to fail the extra challenge. That makes him more challenging, much more difficult in fact, to the point where he'll be able to one-shot me, but it will reward me with a lot of extra loot at the end, if I am indeed successful. So this one here is going to spawn charge removal machines, and I can click those to remove his charges, and usually what you try and do is you'll try and DPS him, while he gains charges, then remove the charges, and then you know, kill him while he doesn't have any charges. That's what you'll do to be safe. However, this time I'm going to wait for him to acquire 15 charges. I'll do a little bit of damage to him at the start, just being careful not to you know, kill him, not to deal 1/3 of his life to spawn the next, to basically end this encounter. I've already dealt a lot of damage to him, so I've got to be very careful here. As you can see, my single target damage is pretty phenomenal. Once he has these charges, however, he will become incredibly tanky, and it will look like I'm doing very little damage at that point. When he says that, maximum efficiency, that means he's fully charged, and you can finish him off. Gotta watch out, see how fast that cleave is? The charges make him tankier, they make him hit harder, and they make him much faster. It's pretty freaking nasty. They're like frenzies combined with endurance charges. Okay, so from here I know there's a silver zone up here that has an Emperor's Trove in it. Sometimes you can get a bit of loot from them. If that was a little faster, I'd go do that because it's a side zone instead. I'm just going to try and bypass through. Now, I believe this one needs to be the right-hand side door, so I'm going to head up the right-hand side. If you're ever unsure in the labyrinth and you don't have a map up, ooh, 20 quality discharge, not bad. Prophecy. Not a bad idea to keep your prophecies fully stacked up whenever you're doing like high-level maps or Uber Lab runs, so you can get extra things like 20 quality gems and extra unique drops and such. So yeah, if you're ever lost inside the labyrinth, just head top right. It seems to be a pretty foolproof way of progressing through the zones. Go ahead and grab those silver keys. Get up through this way. Been having a bit of a jumpy run through the lab today, but we should be just fine. So straight up in the mansion hall, that was a nice short zone. Halls, walkways, paths, things like that are usually the ones that will progress you, whereas stuff like enclosures are usually the sealed off rooms, so you can kind of tell from the name as well, without actually having to go into the zone, what you're about to head into. So this one here, I am going to head to the top left, actually, so I'm going to go top left on this one, referring to my map there. In this case, top right would take me to an enclosure, so we want to go top left, because we don't want this enclosure. We want the enclosure after these... Well, we want actually the silver door after the second Desire encounter. And take a shortcut here. Blink Arrow is a fantastic movement skill. Whirling Blades is great for kind of zooming through traps. But if you're a spellcaster and they're using Whirling Blades for daggers or something like that, then I highly recommend getting Flame Dash and or Lightning Warp. Those are great for skipping over traps and will speed up your lab runs as well as making them safer. I think we actually might want to go top left here. And if you're a melee character, then I highly recommend having Leap Slam. Leap Slam with faster attacks will allow you to skip a lot of things. And it's not a bad idea even to get Lightning Warp to make really far jumps. So straight into the second Aspirant's Trial here. This one is also a really nice one. Today's actually a really bad Labyrinth as far as the additional effects go. You can see what he has going into each thing. You can see his charges there. If he's got like conduits or statues or something, they'll also appear there. So you can see what buffs he has if you're ever unsure. But this one is conduits, where you have to deactivate the statues constantly and try and kill him while they're all deactivated. It's a real pain in the ass if you're trying to do it properly. However, I'm just going to run circles. I'm going to do what's called Circle of Exile. Run circles around him. I'll spawn my golem. Just have to be careful if he's targeting my golem, so he doesn't accidentally, hit me instead. Enjoy. So we're just going to run circles. I can do a little bit of damage to him. He is pretty tanky, so I'm not likely to accidentally kill him. And wait for those 3 conduits to come up and activate. I can deactivate one now and wait for the second one to come up just to make it a little safer, in case he does accidentally hit me. Those are pretty good shot. He'll one-shot me now. A unbuffed cleave attack, like his Reeve style attack, can do about 5k health. So he's pretty, like, ugh. So the strategy at this point, now that he's incredibly dangerous and has a very good chance of one-shotting us, is to attack just after he does an attack. So here he does that charge there, and there's that safe period. So just there is a good time to attack. Just after he does the cleave is a good time to attack. Just after he does that, I'm going to curse him with vulnerability. We wait for him to do whatever he's going to do. He's not doing anything now. We'll wait for him to attack, and then he's done. So attacking when he's just walking around is very dangerous, because especially if he's charged up, because he'll be much faster. You want to attack just after he does an attack. That's the safest point at which to do an attack. So at this point, I want to actually go up this way, and then I'll go down into a silver room. This one is another silver room that I can go to. However, it's a map one. It's like a Emperor's something or other. Emperor's Charts, which sounds really good. You get maps, yeah, but they're only level 68 maps. They're only tier 1 maps, so it's not really worth doing that. We actually want to go left in this one as well. Wait, we can't go left that way. We have to head up around first. I'm just going to scoot through here. Don't use movement skills on those guys, obviously. You'll take damage. Lava Gorilla, you can mostly just either leech from the enemies or just use your flask as you run through them. If they're really long, you might want to use your movement skills to jump them, or just wait. Sometimes being patient is a better option. Like just this one here, I'm just going to wait here for a second, and we'll use our movement skill through here. I need to hit this crank, then I need to hit the other timed crank. Then we're in pretty good shape. We can hit that lever. And did I miss something? Why is this door still locked? This is unusual. I have not encountered this particular puzzle. So there is a bit of RNG in each stage, because I've done this live run about 8 times, and I've not encountered this puzzle. And why isn't that door opened? That's very unusual. That door should be open. Okay. I'm gonna go try going top right. There's a possibility that's like an extra puzzle. Oh, it looks like there's a path off to the bottom right there. Okay, that's weird. I've not encountered this puzzle this time. So two new layouts that I hadn't encountered in 8 runs I encountered just now. Yeah, it looks like I need to go around. Okay, here we go. Let's jump over there. Let's grab that switch. These little ones with the white circles, they'll sap your flask charges, so that can be a little annoying. And then we can take a shot. It looks like we can go around this way. That is very unusual. Just blast everything while we wait for the lava to go down. And here we are, Basilica Halls. So this is where we want to go. If this said enclosure, it would be at the wrong one, which would have been off to the top right. We probably could have ran around to the right and then cut across. Often when there's 2 doors in a zone, you can just kind of cut across to the other door if you get to the wrong one. So this time we actually want to go to the right-hand side to be able to get our silver door and get our guaranteed unique item. The uniques are honestly not that good. They are the lab uniques that you get from this. And a lot of them aren't worth anything. Winds of Change can be worth like 5-ish chaos if it's well rolled, so it doesn't take us really an extra time to do this one because the key is in the same zone we're running through already, and this silver door is also in our path as well if we choose to path this way. So this doesn't really take us any extra time, so I do it anyway. You know, an extra couple chaos every here and then from getting a Winds of Change doesn't hurt when it doesn't really cost you any extra time at all. So we're not racing for you know, world record speeds here. I'm not trying to get the #1 place jewel or anything like that. People with better optimized characters for speedrunning will probably do better with that. Here we are. We're just trying to farm the labyrinth. We're trying to make currency from the labyrinth. Get sick items, get lots of quality gems and so on. As you can see, silver door's right here. As I said, it doesn't take any extra time. So we just need to jump in here, activate these levers. There should be 3 levers, and that'll open the door. Not a particularly difficult puzzle. Blow up these guys, and there is our intricate locker. We got a full-scale armor. What is this one? Viper's Scales. Movement speed. Cannot be poisoned. Chance to poison on hit with attacks. I am not overly familiar with that unique. Probably one of the... it's lower level, so probably one of the kind of the common ones I just haven't happened to have gotten yet. Okay, so now that we've got that, we want to head downwards. And the exit to this zone will be hooked down and around. Because we went up left and the silver key was up there, and there's clearly no other way to go around. The orientation of this zone will be kind of like an L shape. So we want to kind of follow that L over this way. And the other door should be up this way. It's kind of funny because you're like, I guess it goes downwards or something. I don't know how that works in terms of physics, but nonetheless, we'll head through this way here. The ones that pulse with blood, they puncture you. They do quite a bit of damage and then stack a nasty bleed on you. So bleed removal is essential for the lab. Highly recommend having 1 to 2 bleed removal flasks. Not a bad idea to have a duration bleed removal and then a bleed removal life flask. It will make your lab running much safer. Much safer. It's embarrassing to lose an offering to the goddess, a lab run, on a trap. It's an embarrassing way to lose it. Now I've done this, I think I've done about 10, 15 Uber lab runs now. I've died once, so there's always a risk of dying. I did get 1 shot in the time that I died, so it can definitely happen. When he's this fully stacked up, it is potentially quite dangerous. You can see I got bled there. So I just need to run like smooth circles and only attack when I have a safe opportunity to do so. Since, as I said, he can very much one-shot me with that cleave. So that was a decent spot to attack him then. After the charge is the safest. So there's the charge, just stack some damage on him there. Run some circles here. Always be trying to run like perpendicular to him, you know, a straight line across him rather than away from him. His melee attacks hurt, but if you just kind of run circles directly across, you won't get hit by his abilities, which is the most important thing. That's the one that kills you. The Cascade can certainly kill you. It's a bit safer because your Immortal Call will save you from that. Cast damage taken Immortal Call. Changing direction is risky, but I kind of like the way those rumbas were flowing there. Alright, there's that. I'm going to take my time with this one, do it nice and safe. I don't want to die on camera here. That would be embarrassing. Gonna stack him up with a few there. I have nice damage over time. Whoa! That was his melee attack right there. You can see fully charged. He does huge amounts of damage with that. There we go. We had 1 near-death experience there. Don't kill me, Roomba. Roomba's trying to clean me up while I grab the keys. 1 near-death experience from a nasty fully charged melee attack. The charges stacked up damage, 15 stacks of charges, and the 3 conduits, giving him lightning damage, cold damage, fire damage, shock chance, ignite chance, and freeze chance. It's kind of nasty, as you can imagine. So now we have 5 keys, and are you ready? Prepare to feast your eyes, my friends. Prepare to feast. I'm going to open these guys. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? So we got a tier 13 red map. You get red maps from inside the lab at the end here. We also got some canyons, volcanoes, tier 8 through 10 maps as well. And you'll often get a unique map as well. Porjoys is actually really good. That's like 10 chaos right there. And we got quality gems. We got 19 quality gems. Yes. It's awesome. I've had 12, I've had 16, I've had a couple 18s. 19 is my highest so far, so we'll go ahead and grab those 19 quality gems just there. So that's a lot of quality gems, right? And we also got a divination card. This is the first time I've seen the divination card one, actually. So let's see if we got any particularly good one. This was really nice. That's just 5 chaos. 1 for 1, 5 chaos orbs. So we made 5 chaos from this already, in addition to all the other stuff we got. Alright, we're just going to we're gonna get rid of this. Pick up these dudes. The stash is right there, so we can stash all this stuff. A few okay divination cards there. We finished a 20 quality mirror arrow, not bad, and 5 chaos orbs, not bad at all. So I'm going to stash all this stuff here, and we'll take a look at all the loot from one Uber Lab run in just a momento. Okay, looks like we also got a jewelry one as well. A unique Dowager's Damning, not very good. And we got this one here. Now, sometimes you'll get item level 84 items. Looks like this one was a bit of a dud, so nothing good there. it's worthwhile kind of like holding display items like this and checking for item level 84 stuff. Item level 84 helmets, in particular, are very good for enchanting here in the Labyrinth. So now, that's not all though, we still have some enchantments to do, so I'm going to go ahead and try and enchant this. I'm doing an evasion pelt here, and it currently has lightning tendrils, which is not very useful for evasion pelt. And we got flame dash cooldown recovery speed, not very good either, going to re-enchant that again. And we got caustic arrow damage, that's really good. Okay, cool, nice. So, the stats on this don't matter, this is just a random item level 84 helmet. The point is that you can scour this, and you can craft this. You can chaos this, you can spec chaos spam this, and craft this well, and make a really nice helmet out of this. And with that 40% increased caustic arrow damage, then there's some nice damage for a poison arrow build, for a caustic arrow build. So that's sellable, could be 20 chaos to an exalt maybe. So not bad. Might be more like 15 to 20 maybe, depending on how many are already in the market. Caustic Arrow is generally pretty popular. Damage is for that. If a Caustic Arrow is generally what they want, so that's going to be a very nice one. So we'll be able to sell that. So let's take a look at our total loot just there. We got a sellable helmet, could be somewhere from 15 chaos to all the way up to 1 exalt. You can get enchantments worth 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 exalts potentially if you get like a good unique with a proper enchantment on it. You know, for example, one I'm looking for myself is to get a rat's nest with 2 tornado shot projectiles. That could go for something like 5 exalts. So that's what I'm trying to get for myself personally. So we got like a 10C map here, we got 5C from this, and we got a whole bunch of 19 quality gems, which will go from anywhere from, some of them will be turned into GCPs, like File Rain of Arrow, I'll use the vendor recipe, and other ones might sell for like 4 or 5 chaos maybe. Assassin's Mark might sell for 5 plus chaos, so some pretty nice stuff there. We'll check the, we've got some jewelry over here too we can check. Any of these could be good and we could use them in the Regal recipe. And I got Winds of Change, not very well rolled ones, they're pretty poorly rolled, so they're probably vendor trash. I did a quick check on PoE trade for you guys to have a look at the caustic arrow damage enchant we got, and it looks like they go for about a minimum of 40 chaos, given that this is an evasion base. If we maybe craft some good stats on that, if we sell it as is, we could get something like 30, 45, 40 chaos pretty easily, and if we craft some good stats on it, we could get anywhere from an exalt upwards. This build, for you guys wondering, is a Tornado Shot Assassin using the new bow Reach of the Council and using Kintsugi for defense. We have a Drill Neck with an additional arrow and a Rat's Nest with 1 secondary Tornado Shot projectile. We get powerful bleeds and poisons from Noxious Strike and Toxic Delivery, and we sit around 85% crit chance, fully buffed. Pretty nice single target damage, a nice solid build for Uber Lab running. I'll probably release a build guide on this sometime in the near future. But as you can see, the Uber Lab is quite exciting. It's a fun and interesting different style of endgame content. It's a very different pace from mapping, and with very, very tasty rewards at the end. And I mean, you haven't even seen like the currency boxes and stuff you can get as well. I actually had an Uber Azara drop an exalt for me in a run early today as well, so that was pretty nice. But hopefully this gives you a taste of what the Uber Lab is like, and maybe you guys can consider making a build for it and doing some Uber Lab farming. It's a lot of fun, it's very rewarding, good way to make currency, good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Any questions or comments you have, leave them down below. That is it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.